Hey guys, so glad you're back. We are on episode 136. Thank you so much, guys, for your continued support so that I can help be here for you and add value and encourage you as you deal with some of your challenging students. And so, as I'm sure a lot of you already know, this month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so that's why I've chosen social emotional learning for this month as well to be teaching on during the month of May. And so this episode is about promoting empathy with your students. Because you have quite a diversity in your class with a lot of your students coming from different backgrounds. And so we want to encourage empathy with your students. Now, before we get started, I just want to encourage you to leave a review wherever you are listening, whether it's a 5-star review, and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. That would really help other educators be able to reach out and connect with this episode and this podcast as well. So I encourage you to leave a review. I would love to hear from you. Welcome to Behavior Strategies for Class. I am Diane Bachman, your behavior paraprofessional with over 15 years of experience working in special education. And I'm so glad you're here because I'll be teaching you about social emotional learning, behavior strategies, trauma-informed care, and more. So if you are tired of being frustrated and not knowing what to do with your students who have challenging and disruptive behavior, you're in the right place. Now, if you're ready to become more equipped to help your students learn and grow, let's listen in to today's episode. Also, before we get started, are you tired of struggling with that student and their behavior that never seems to calm down? Are you frustrated and not knowing what to do? Well, I want to encourage you also to get on a free, no obligation strategy call today, and we can strategize together in getting a plan to help you make it through the rest of the year. So check out that Calendly link in the show notes, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Now, Mother's Day can be a really hard, sad day for some students. And your example of empathy toward these students speaks volumes for the rest of your class. Because, as you know, some of your students may not have their moms in their lives for many different reasons. Their mom could have died. Their mom could be out of their life for a lot of reasons, as far as they could be on drugs, they could be in jail, they've lost custody, all of these things. And then they have grandparents taking care of them, maybe aunts, uncles, cousins, some other people taking care of them besides specifically their mom. You may have some that have moms going through cancer. Some may be fighting some other illness. And so it's a very sensitive, topic for some of your students. And like we've had students that have been in the foster system, and so they have no relationship with their moms, or it's very on and off. I waited with one of our students in the school office because mom was supposed to come and pick him up. And one time she did show up, and of course he was ecstatic. And then the next time she did not show up, and that's so heartbreaking. And so they have a very mixed emotions when it comes to moms. And so being empathetic toward their students is really important, because we've had other times where some teachers, and this was years ago, where, the students have to write like a Mother's Day card or what they really like about their mom. And I honestly don't remember what had happened with this student's mom, but this student was so upset and, of course, started acting out in class. And now the teacher's upset as well because, she's trying to do this awesome, craft or idea for Mother's Day. And you have these student like having a meltdown in the corner, and she's just not understanding or putting it together, like what could really be the correlation. And so we were able to take that student out and talk with them, and that's when they said, and like I said, I don't remember what it was, but obviously it was something that affected him so much, where like he didn't even want to be in the class while they were doing that specific project. It was just too hard. It was just too painful for that student. And so I know now a lot of teachers have changed their wording and reminding them, okay, it could be your mom, it could be your grandma, it could be your aunt. Even just that change of wording really makes a difference, and it shows empathy to those students who are sensitive to this holiday, and it gives them you're not just boxed in, because yes, we want to honor our mothers who are here and who do who actually are a caring mother. And so we want to encourage students to honor them and not feel bad like you do have your mom, but to teach them empathy, to know that not everybody has that. And so how can that student be involved with that project and not feel so overwhelmed with emotion, and knowing that, what, you can write it to grandma. That's okay. You can write it to your aunt. That's okay. Or whoever else is in their life. It's okay to write, or make this craft for that woman that's in their life, or that, mom figure for them. So I think it's just goes back again to relationship and knowing your students, and maybe you may not know, like, specific things happening with that student and their parents. And so sometimes during these holidays, it kind of stirs up these emotions. And maybe, it's giving them a chance to share, and just sharing if students want to, about their moms or about their grandma or whoever it is that helps take care of them, their guardian. Have them share and be able, and have the other students know, oh, okay, so it is their grandma that takes care of them. Because that is definitely becoming a lot more of the norm, just because of the different family dynamics. And so to be able to have students share, if they are able to, if they are willing, so that others can be empathetic toward their situation, I think is a really good a good time for your students to learn that empathy, as well as you, as the teacher in your class, you model that for your students so they know they can be sensitive and empathetic to that student as well. So, so a reminder, a few things, like I said, some of your students may not have a mom at home. And you may already know that, or you may not. And so, like I said, it may come up. And just to be prepared to know that some of your students really struggle with this holiday. And like I said, it could be a grandma, it could be an aunt, a cousin, a foster mom, another guardian that helps to take care of them. And so they can write it to whoever they want, right? And that's just honoring the women in their lives, because we women are the main caregivers for the most part for most of families. And so I think it is great that we honor them as however your class does that. I think that's a really blessing for those families. And so again, and then be aware of some students who really may not want to participate at all. Like I said, we've had that with some other students, and it's okay. I think giving them that opportunity and that chance to be able to express to you, I really don't want to do this. Or, I'm not comfortable doing this. That's okay. And maybe having a backup activity for those students who don't want to participate because it's too hard, it's too painful, it's too sad. And that's okay. Giving them that freedom when they're able to share with you, and then having another activity available, just kind of makes that transition easy. So it's not a last minute scramble for you to try and find something else for that student, and they're not feeling awkward and out of place. So you have something already. Oh, okay. Here you go. This is something else you could work on. Or if they want to sit and read or draw or whatever works for your class, so that student can still be in with you and in the class if that's what they prefer. Or if they have opportunity, they could go hang out with the counselor, like at our school, like they could come hang out with us in our program. Or if there's other adults in the building that could hang out with them, if that's what they would prefer, during that activity time. So again, it's just being empathetic to your students that have different dynamics at home, where mom may not be available, mom may be suffering cancer, some other illness, or mom's on drugs and they don't even know where she is, or mom has no contact with their student or with their child. And so they don't want to talk about mom. There's so many different scenarios and different things that your students are going through regarding their moms. So being empathetic and open towards how they're feeling and how they want to deal with whatever Mother's Day activity you may have going on in your class is really important. And like I said, if you could have a separate activity available for those who may be struggling, who may not want to do this activity, you just have that option ready. That transition is easy, and you're just like, here you go. Here's a couple things right here. You can decide what you want to do. And then they just go back to their desk, and nobody's making a big deal about it, I think that's super important, and even if somebody starts to, that's where, you take that teaching moment of empathy and just reminding your class. And maybe that's an announcement at the beginning of this activity that you do for Mother's Day. Just a reminder for the whole class. You know what, guys? We have some students that may live with their grandparents or a guardian, a different adult or whatever, so not everybody is going to want to do this activity, and that's okay. But those of you who do, this is what we're going to do. And then those of you who don't, this is what's available, but we're all going to try and stay together as a class and support and encourage each other. I think that's huge and speaks volumes because, like I said, you guys are a family away from home. And hopefully this is where your students feel the safest when they're at school is when they're in your class, because you have cared for them this whole year. You have made them feel valued, seen, and heard. And so they're going to feel comfortable sharing with you their hurts regarding their mom, whatever the situation. So being empathetic towards students during this time of celebrating Mother's Day is really important. And of course, it's really important for the rest of your students to know that as well. You know, we would love, of course, that all of your students would have their moms there loving and nurturing them and growing them. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. So we just want to be sensitive, be empathetic to your students' situations, have different activities available if you're able to. I think that will really help as you go through and honor the women in your students' lives. And so I want to leave you with this quote from Marshall B. Rosenberg, and it is, "Empathy is a respectful understanding of what others are experiencing." And it's so true because, like I said, your students are going through different things, and they may or may not want to celebrate and participate in Mother's Day activities. So, teaching empathy is important. Promoting empathy with your students is important. Being aware of their mental health during this holiday is important. So I want to encourage you also, again, to get the support and guidance you need through a strategy call to help you survive these last weeks of school. I would love to be able to walk beside you with that and give you some guidance and support. So check out that Calendly link in the show notes, and I will talk to you soon and see you next week. Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. And if I have encouraged you, motivated you to continue to learn, to support your students, even better, to help them strive in your classroom, please leave a review, hit that subscribe button so that others can see they can learn and grow here as well. Thank you.